A few weeks ago, I posted the 12-month ownership review, and when we go to 12 months, it means that it's time for the 12-month or 1-year maintenance service. In this video, I will go over the maintenance and things that I've encountered in this maintenance. So let's get to it. Hey, it's LSFT here today, and today we're here to go through the 12-month maintenance schedule. Actually, it's really the 1 year. It seems like months are easy to talk about, but it's the 1-year service for the 2022 Lexus NX450h Plus. So I scheduled my maintenance with the winter tire swap, so that there is no charge for swapping the tires as long as they're on rims. The reasoning for that is because as part of the service maintenance, they would need to take out the tire to inspect your brakes. While swapping another tire, they do not charge for putting the summer or the winter tires back on. So back in the old days, they will actually program the TPMS, the tire pressure monitoring system, but in our NX, all you need to do is just go to the Lexus interface and change the settings to the first set or the second set. So make sure they do not charge you for programming TPMS when you get your winter tires swapped. So as part of the purchase of the new NX, in Canada we get 2 complimentary maintenance, and both of them are more of an inspection type of service and not really an oil change. So the first service is about 1,600 kilometers, or 1 month. It's called a check-in. And what they do is you can actually go and set up your personalizations of your vehicle. And if you want to know more about personalizing your vehicle, I actually have a video talking about what options you have. So I'll put it on the card here so that you can click and watch that video afterwards. And in that service, really what they do is they just do an inspection under the hood to just make sure that everything is still operating properly. And you also get the opportunity to ask questions regarding your car, especially like the Lexus interface or anything that you're not aware of. Sometimes you'll really need to talk to the technology specialists because they know more than your salesperson or anybody in the service department. And typically, this service is actually pre-booked when you pick up your NX at the dealership. So they will typically mark it about 1 month after you picked up your vehicle, and that's when you'll have that inspection. So the second service is at 8,000 kilometers or 6 months. And really, you can see that it will actually say it's a check-in. And what they do is they will make sure that you've installed the driver's floor mat properly. And again, this is added because before, when they had the problems of unintended acceleration, and one of the reasons is really because the floor mats were actually too thick and it caught the gas pedal so that the gas pedal couldn't come back up. So that's one reason why now you always see that they will make sure that the driver's floor mat only has 1 floor mat. The second thing they'll do is reset the maintenance reminder light. They will inspect the wiper blades, the linkage, and the washer to make sure it operates properly, inspects the engine oil, brake fluid, engine inverter coolant, power steering fluid, and washer fluid. Typically, they'll just top up the washer fluid. Mostly everything else should be fine. They will then also inspect the engine and the air cabin filter to see if it needs to be replaced or not. It will also do rotation of tires and also perform seasonal tire changeovers. And then they'll also check the tread depth and inspect the wear pattern to make sure everything is good. They will also remove the wheel and inspect the brake pads, the calipers, rotors, and the brake lines and hoses to make sure everything is operating properly. And then the last thing is really they do measurements of everything just to make sure everything is in order. So there has been a lot of people recommending to go and do your oil change earlier than what they've said. and typically it would be like every 8,000 kilometers. So you could actually have the option to ask your service advisor that you want an oil change, and that will not be complimentary for sure. They will actually charge you for the oil change if you request to have the oil change at 8,000 kilometers. And I also do suggest you doing that, especially if you're driving the NX250, 350, even the 350h. The reason why is that gas engine operates almost every single time you drive. And I do see that it makes sense to go and do an early oil change so that the metal parts and all that are removed from the filter and your engine will actually be much better operating in the future. Then you may ask why I didn't do my oil change at 8,000 kilometers. I'll actually answer that later in this video. But before I do that, let me talk about my experience in this so-called third service. So first thing is, I didn't have to pay anything for this service. The reason for that is I actually paid for a 5-year ECP extended warranty package when I bought the NX, and that actually included 3 years of maintenance. So since there are these two complimentary ones, and then I'm really only getting 2.5 years of service as part of this ECP. So if you're thinking of buying ECP because of the free maintenance, I would suggest you not buy the ECP. The ECP is actually not designed for getting the free maintenance, but it's more for getting the extra 1 year of warranty, because there is 4 years of standard warranty and I bought the 5-year, which means I get 1 extra year of warranty in this vehicle. And the reason why I bought extended warranty, it's again, I'm considering this as an investment just in case anything goes wrong. And because there's so many electronics in this vehicle, I would actually consider buying this, especially this is the first model year of the second generation NX. Some people would say, you're buying a Toyota Lexus, it should not go wrong. Who would know? There are a lot of people who actually got the second generation NX and did get problems with the vehicle. So that's just a warranty thing, just in case that there is anything wrong in the future. And on top of it, yes, the bonus of the 3 years of maintenance. So if you consider it $2,000 something Canadian plus taxes, and you minus the whatever $1,000 or less of the maintenance, it just means that the warranty of extending it an extra year would cost a little bit less than just paying the $2,000-ish for the extra 1 year of warranty. So here you can see, as part of my invoice, you can see here that I'm actually using the service number 2. Inspects the floor mats, resets the reminder, inspect all lights and horns to make sure they're working properly, inspect the wiper blades, inspect the drive belts and pulleys, lubricate the locks, latches and hinges, replaces the engine oil and filter, synthetic oil, inspect and top up all fluids, inspect for any leaks, and also checking if the engine and cabin air filter is good, inspect the brakes, calipers, rotors and lines, rotate the tires, inspect any abnormal wear and tear of the tires, and also look at the differential and transfer case vents for obstruction of anything. So you can see here they said that they reset the reminder, they topped up my fluids, my tire pressures are 35 psi's in the front and the rear, and they looked at the cabin filter is good, engine filter is also good. They said my summer tires are 7mm in the front and 6.5mm in the rear. So my understanding is they probably have rotated the tires. The 6.5 was the front before and the 7mm were the back. And you can see here my winter tires is a Michelin X-Ice, and it is 8mm in the front and 8mm in the rear. So it means that my tires are actually still brand new in the winter tires. So it is actually quite funny because I went back to my November 11th invoice from the same dealership, and when they actually told me that my summer tires, they said that my fronts were 6.1mm and the rear was 6.7mm. So I don't know, it's maybe a different calibration of the device, or if they just randomly, like there's a a percentage of error, because it seemed that if I looked at the numbers from November to March, my tires actually regrown. The rear was 6.7, assuming they rotated, and the front is now 7. So now I have 0.3 extra millimeters in the tires. And in the front, before it was 6.1 millimeters, and now in the rear it's 6.5, which I've gained 0.4 millimeters. That's quite interesting to see. So one thing to note is, the total of kilometers I've driven is about 10,736. And looking at the numbers, I've driven about 6,400 kilometers on the run flat tires. And I've driven 4,300-ish kilometers on the winter tires. And when you look at that ratio, definitely yes, the run flat tires have ran more, but then when you look at the tread life, the run flat tires are really going much faster. When you see that the numbers of the millimeters left, right now it's 7 and 6.5 millimeters versus driving the 4,000 kilometers in the winter tires remains at the 8 millimeter mark. So we can see that the run flat tires will definitely burn out much faster than the Michelin X-Size winter tires. So one thing that I'll be reporting in probably my next update on maintenance is that I'll be looking at these run flat tires and see how quickly do they actually burn out, and when it's time to change for a new set of tires. So based on what I'm seeing, I would say probably a few years down the road, it would be time to make a change. I know a lot of people have complained about the run flat tires and how noisy they are. So when I did this tire change, I purposely focused on listening to the road noise and see what was different between the winter tires and the run flat tires. So my winter tires are Michelin X-Ice and they're not run flat tires. So in the winter tires, I do hear the winter tire noise where it's more grippier on the roads. And then when I swapped into the run flat tires, I would say that I have noticed the noise of the run flat tires. However, when I spoke with my wife, she said no, she didn't really feel a difference. As a passenger, probably she wouldn't feel the difference. And I guess it depends if you're really pointing and trying to listen to that noise. And I would say that the noise is not something that will stop you having a conversation in the car. And I feel that the isolation and insulation is actually quite good. I do hear it. I admit that there is road noise, and non-run flat tires will probably be better. However, I wouldn't want to waste these run flat tires, so I'm going to run them out to a point where it's time to replace and then go with non-run flat tires. I think that way you maximize what you've bought, and some people probably would enjoy the run flat tires because they feel that it's safer to have a run flat tire as it's designed to have run flat tires. I guess it really depends on your needs and how picky you are with that noise. Because again, typically when I'm in the car, either the radio's on or there's music blasting through those speakers. So it actually cancels out that noise. You just need to focus on listening to the music and not on the road. So I want to talk about why I didn't do an oil change at the 8,000 kilometer mark. Because I actually drove a lot on EV driving. The engine actually didn't drive a lot. The reason for this is I do short distances and the need to drive in the gas engine is very minimal. So I pulled up how much gas I've actually filled in and actually calculated based on the combined rating of the vehicle to see how much did I actually drive using gasoline. So in total, when you look at all the numbers I've actually put in, I filled up almost 230 liters of fuel. And right now on the gasometer, there's about 587 kilometers, which means it equates to, based on the 6.6 liters per 100 kilometers, there's 38.7 whatever liters of gasoline in the vehicle. So I deduct that overall I've used 192, let's say, liters of gasoline. So based on that, I did the calculation with the 6.6 liters per 100 combined fuel consumption. It means that I've driven roughly 1,262 kilometers on that gasoline engine. So even if I went and said, okay, I drove 7 liters per 100, that's 1338. I've only driven less than 2,000 kilometers on the gasoline when I made the oil change at 10,000 kilometers. Taking that in consideration, I've driven 9,000, roughly 400 kilometers in EV range, and the rest is purely on gasoline. So when you look at it, I've only driven 12, even at most 1,500 kilometers on gasoline, and it's still an early, I would say, oil change when you compare it to driving a 350 where you really have driven 8,000 kilometers, or even a 350h where at 8,000 you probably have driven 6,000 to 7,000 kilometers on that gasoline engine. So that's the reason and rationale why I did not do the oil change that early. I know some of you probably would not, I know some of you may disagree with my rationale, and again, it really doesn't matter. If you feel comfortable doing the oil change at 8,000 kilometers, go do it. As many of the mechanics on YouTube or mechanics say, it's the cheapest thing you can do to maintain your vehicle. And if you do feel comfortable doing it at 8,000, go ahead and do it. You're not going to cause more harm. You'll actually do better for your vehicle. And also, as part of this service, I actually went and said that the wireless charger is not working well with my iPhone 14 Pro. And what they came back with was something that really, in some ways, pisses me off. Like, they say that, oh, we've used our own phones and tested the wireless charger. It's working properly and it's great. Okay. And then I said that, oh, I have a case on it and I've actually given up using it because it's just completely useless. And they said, yeah, you have a case and that's why it's not working. And in back of my mind it was, who actually uses a phone without a case? I think 80% to 90% of the people in this world have a case on their phone. I know that there's some people who actually have their phone naked and they don't use a case, but that's very little. And when you compare to most of the majority, some people actually have extremely thick cases because they want to protect their phone. And are you going to take their phone out and move it around? No, you won't. So they even said that they had one of the service technicians who actually had an iPhone 14 and they put it on and it's working properly. Yeah, drive it around without a case and see if it moves around or not. Then I start complaining. I said, I'm fed up with it and it doesn't work. And then they said that, oh, there's no service bulletin, there's no new parts. They're really just brushing me off. I'll let it go this time, and next time I'll continue to pound them to see, is there a fix? And probably it's time to go and write to Lexus Canada and start complaining the hell out of it, because I feel that they're not addressing it, even though people know that there are a new part for the wireless charger. Heard reports that some are doing well, some are still saying that it's still not working as it should be. So one thing I want to report on is the included winter mats. I know some people would actually opt to buy other type of winter mats, like the WeatherTech or other brands, because they feel that there's no protection in the winter mats that are included in the NX in Canada, and you can buy them in the United States and other places. So what I did was, the dealership actually went and did a light cleanup of my interior as part of the service. And one thing that I did was, I took out the winter mats to see how bad it is after the winter. So you can see that I've driven 4,337 kilometers in the winter, and taking out the mats, you can see here that it's actually quite clean. There's not that much salt, or almost zero amount of salt in that driver's side. I was quite surprised because the last generation NX, it actually had more salt around the gas pedal, and because how the mats were designed, I feel that this new set of mats actually did much better in the winter this time. And when you look at it, I would say probably a little bit of vacuum cleaning probably would remove some of the white dots, and everything else would actually still be quite clean. I'm quite surprised with the quality of the winter mats that came with the NX. Since I haven't really paid for this service, I really don't know how much the service really costs. But I'll be doing some research and hopefully be able to do my next video, and you should look out for that video, how much it will cost to do the maintenance of Service 1, Service 2, and Service 3, and hopefully I'll be able to pull more information. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please comment, like, and share this video. If you'd like to see more videos like this, you can subscribe to my channel and press that alert button to get notified when new videos are posted. If you'd like to support the channel, you can definitely provide a super thanks. I'll see you guys again next time in the next video.